Hi everybody, this is the Zomboy Terror Squad growl tutorial, and as you may know, this is the growl what we are going to create in this video. This is the original, cut from the original song. And another version. And this is my version, which is, well, the original version, because Zomboy used my sample from my sample pack. So this is the original. And first, sorry, before we start making that sound, I must tell you that I'm pretty proud that Zomboy used my samples. In the previous video about this growl, the Terror Squad growl, there was a lot of flame there about Zomboy is a real artist or not, because he uses lots of samples and etc. And why I uploaded this video if I don't want them, or why I make sample packs if I don't want them to use it or to use them. Which is not true, because I am very proud that Zomboy used my samples. This makes me very happy, because if a big name uses my sample, it means that my samples are cool, and this is why I make them. So I'm really happy that Zomboy used, and I can't really agree that Zomboy is not a real artist because he used samples, because that sample in Terror Squad is tweaked a lot. So the original sample doesn't really sound that which you hear in the Terror Squad song. He tweaked it a lot. He transposed down. He added, I don't know what effects he used, but he tweaked it a lot and sounds very, very cool, I think. So big ups for Zomboy. I love his music and I love what he did with this sample. So the goal of this video is to recreate the original growl, which comes from FM8, of course. What else? So this is the pure FM8 MIDI growl, which is quite similar than the resampled version. Okay, so this is a very complicated patch, because the FM8 patch is quite simple, but the FX chain is the main thing. And I use a lot of effects, but without the effects, of course, the original sound, which comes from FM8, is silly, very silly, as you can hear. Oh, sorry. This is the pure FM8 sound. And right now I won't recreate from scratch the whole patch, because it would take a lot of time. I would just show you the patch. I would show you the automation and the effects instead, and then you will be able to recreate the sound if you may. So this is the FM8 patch, which is only 3 operators, and of course you may use any operator. I used B, C and D, and the main operator is B, which goes to X, and X goes out from FM8. And B is a triangle set to 0.66. So the second operator is C, which modulates operator B, is a TX wave 4, and the ratio is set to 0.33. And there is another operator, operator D, which is a triangle again, and the ratio is set to 16.6. And this is all. Only operator B goes to X to add a little saturation, and gain is the only player there, which is set to 71, and it goes out. And this is the only thing. Sorry, one more thing. I used a very slight pitch envelope there to make it a little, you know, organic sound. When you hit the play, when you hit a note, you want it to make it modulate a little. So I used the pitch envelope 16. I set the pitch envelope to 16 and added some slight modulation on the attack and on the decay. So this is not very important, but makes it a very slight organic sound to it. So this is the FM8 patch. It has no effects. It has okay, maybe I used a little transpose -6, but nothing else there. Yeah, so this is the only thing which is coming from FM8. The other important thing, so this is the, of course I used modulation on the operators, but we will talk about later. No, I'm showing you right now. Okay, so which operators are modulated? Well, D and B. So here you can see from C to B, and this is what we are talking about, is controlled by macro 1, and from the range 0.66 to maximum. And from D to C is set to 0.07 to 0.06. This is not very much, but if you disable it, you will hear the difference, which is, I think, which is cool to have. It will give a little more live feeling. Okay, so the FM8 modulation is this only. Step to the next effect, which is an homicide distortion, and it is very simple again, because I used only two bands, band 1 and band 2, and band 1 is set to square, odd squared, and I use this little star type, and the second band is smart E, and I use the X type, and the split between the bands is 557.1 kilohertz, and the only difference is the second band is set to -2.2 decibels, and the first band is set to -3.8 decibels, and this is all. The other options are not essential. You may change them. It won't make too much effect. So this is the sound with homicide. Without it, so this is not a very drastic difference, but let's add the next effect, which is a wow filter, like always, because wow makes a very good result on growls. And of course I used a band reject filter type, and what I did, I mapped the cutoff to macro 1, and as you can see here, I automated vowel B 2, which isn't set to the macro, so you have to automate it with your hands. And this is cool because you will have the possibility to create very different sounds and not shape the sound only with the macro. So this is very essential for this growl, because as you can see, when the note goes really down, vowel B changes to, let's see, to U, but when it starts it is on E, and in the middle it is on I don't know what is this. Okay, so you will have to automate this with your hand. And add a little overdrive and the resonance to about, I don't know, 0.9. The mix is set to about 60 or 55. So this is the wow filter, very essential. Very basic settings. So let's tap to the next, which is an overdrive. And I also automated overdrive strive part, because I don't want it to distort the sound when it is on the low end. So if the macro is set to, so it is on the left side, a moment please. I didn't want the overdrive saturate or distort the sound too much, only if it's up. Okay, this is why the overdrive is set to 51 when the macro is at 127, and when I pull the macro to 0, the drive at is going to 9. Okay, please note that this is very important, because if you don't do this, it will sound a little silly. Okay, this is not very drastic again, but the next step is an EQ. And what I did here is I only used a vocal A preset from the EQ8 unit, and I slightly changed, so because band 1 is set to low cut, but I want it to be a bell, because I didn't want to leave and didn't want to cut the low end and neither the high end. So I set band 1 and band 4 to bell and change it slightly. I will have the original band, but without the cut. So when I finished it, I mapped the scale to macro 1. So this is why when I push up macro 1, the scale is go up to 100, and when the macro is on 0, the scale is on 0 too, so then it didn't give an effect. I'm deleting this one, and the next effect is an EQ2, but this time it is a vocal U effect, but with the different mappings. As you can see here, vocal 8 is set to 0 to 100, and vocal U is set to 80 to 0, so it is almost the opposite. So as you can see here, if I turn the knob of the macro, the little EQs are disabling themselves and enabling themselves. So this is really cool. And what the patch sounds now is like this. Okay, so move on to the next one, which is a simple EQ again to boost up the high end. Not a really big stuff. And I added a limiter, and the next step is an important step again, which is a vocoder. And a very basic settings of this vocoder, because as a carrier I used only a built-in modulator, and I pushed down the formant to minus 12.6. So without the vocoder it sounds this. With the vocoder it sounds this. So it gives a little evil sound, but it cuts the high end. So this is why I added a hot tube preset from the saturator unit. Its drive is set to 10.3. I enabled the pre-DC filter and enabled the color filters and use these settings. The bass is set to -5, frequency is set to 12 kHz, width is 70 1%, and the depth is set to well around 9. Okay, and the next one is an EQ, a drastic EQing on the high end, and the same EQ, drastic boosting on the high end, and on the end I use the limiter again. So this is the patch itself. Very well, it's not that complicated, but the FX chain is really a beast. So I hope you were able to follow me, because we need to resample this sound. The notes are the following. So I set to F2, and it dives down to, well, F sharp 0. Well, on the FM8 patch, I'm sure I used, where is it, the portamento. Yes, it is set to 50. Okay, and the polyphony is 1, of course, to let it to being able to dive and to bend the sound. So this is the original sound coming from FM8, which we need to resample. And this is what I did. I just resampled this sound. And I added a slight saturation set to about 3, the drive to about 3 decibels. And I separated the low part of the growl, because it needs different and more drastic effects and distortions. So the low part of the growl is on another channel, and first in this part what I did is just transpose down, I think, about 2 or 3 semitones. I think it was 2 only. And added a little EQ to boost the high end, and another saturation to about 4, set the drive to about 4 decibels. Without it, and with the effect. Okay, so this is the original growl from Terror Squad. So the next growl sound is from the same sample, but Zomboy filtered it. This is why it sounds a little more guttural and little more vocal, which is, I'm sure, an HP, a high pass filter with a quite high resonance. So without the filter, with the filter. As you can see here, the filter is going up and the resonance is going up with it too. Okay, so this was the tutorial. I hope you were able to follow me, and I know most of you are lazy to recreate the sound from scratch and follow the tutorial. I decided to share this patch, the whole FM8 and the whole Ableton Live session, this one. But I would like you to donate me. So if you donate me with £5 or $8 on my PayPal, I will send you the growl patch. This, what you can hear, this is the original patch with the modulations, with everything set up in one rack, so you will be able to use that growl which Zomboy used. The only thing I ask you is to donate me with £5 or $8. I think this is not a very huge prize or a huge donation, and especially if you, Zomboy, watching this tutorial, please contact me, because it would be awesome to talk to you. Thank you for watching this, and thank you all of the donation if you will make. And one more interesting thing, that Kick tutorial is not very far from us. Okay, so please be excited, and see you 2 weeks later, guys. Goodbye.